I'll be using an airbrush for this application. I'll be painting some camouflage on this 1/48 scale Nasho by Tamiya. Hello, I am Kobey from Hearns Hobbies, and today I'll be painting some camouflage on this 1/48 scale Nasho by Tamiya, as you can see over here. I'll be using an airbrush for this application. I'll be using my Iwata high performance B, so it has the small cup, in the 0.2mm range. Going to be able to achieve some really nice fine lines with this airbrush, and I'll be using a red brown and a JA green by Tamiya. I think these two colors are pretty nice for this camouflage. Now, I'm still a little bit undecided as to whether I'll be putting a winter whitewash on this model or if I'll be doing the model in a camouflage scheme from potentially Italy or where else are they? They're all over Europe. Whether I'll be doing Eastern Front, whether I'll be doing the European front over there. So I have the first step in doing any model when you come in to paint it is getting reference images. So here, come on. Here I've got a bunch of photos of the tank in various different camouflages that I'm drawing inspiration from. So something like this, with a little bit of that camouflage there. What other ones did I like? I have some more saved on my computer, but just a couple of different types of camouflage that I'm drawing inspiration from, like this one here as well. And I'm undecided whether I'm going to put a bunch of leaves and whatnot on the model, or whether I'm going to do it in a winter scheme. So if you like, leave a comment. Always love for you to like, share, subscribe our content. But yeah, leave us a comment on what scheme you think that I should do on this one. Hopefully by the time this comes out, I'll have figured it out myself, but if not, I'd love your help. So let's get into mixing the paint. So I'm going to be doing it in a separate jar. Okay, I'm going to try and mix a bit of that pigment off the bottom as well. As it is so old, some of the thinners has evaporated. I probably bought this paint when I was brush painting. It's been that long before I even owned an airbrush. So some of the thinners may have escaped the jar. So I'm just going to put a little bit of that in there, being quite a bit of the actual paint. And use my pipette. I'm not going to waste any of this paint. I will reuse it at a later date. So I'm going to start off with the green. And that should be enough. Let me swirl this around. Yeah, that's at a good consistency for my liking. This was painted with SMS lacquer acrylic and also primed in a red oxide by Tamiya. And I have done the tracks in a NATO black. So after I do the camouflage, because I'll do a little bit on the road wheels, I will come by with a brush. I'll only film a little bit of it. And I'll paint the rubber parts with NATO black as well. Just don't want a stark black for those road wheels. Okay, checking I've got pressure, checking I've got the needle working properly on my airbrush. So pushing down for air, pulling back for paint. I'm going to load it in. It is quite a small cup on these airbrushes. Maybe a little bit more. Oh. Okay, let's get to painting. Doing a little bit of testing on my mat. All right, let's do it. Okay, there's a little bit of a start there. So I'm just doing random assortment of mottling. Trying to just see down these vents where my green is going. Making sure I'm getting a little bit in there. Going on the corner now. And I've left a little bit of the red oxide showing through, just as it adds a nice, I don't know, base color of modulation to go off of. I should probably turn my compressor on. I was wondering why it hadn't turned on yet. And turn the turret all the way to the side to get a little bit of green going on here. So the whole time that I'm spraying, I'm trying not to run the paint at all. I'm letting it dry at the perfect time once before it hits the model, so it doesn't end up splattering everywhere and getting too runny. Now we're starting to kind of get somewhere with the camo, getting an idea. So I got my basic camouflage there, and I'm just going to go over and kind of tidy it up and make it a little bit darker in different certain spots. Alright, do a little bit more on the barrel. And I'll come back in on the front portion here. I'll do a little bit more darker spots on the green. Alright, there's that, and now let's do a little bit on the bottom section. Make it a little bit rougher because most of it's going to be covered up. Doesn't need to be as uniform as the top. There we go. Get a little bit of an idea of that. And on the side here, and obviously you have to do the front with the tracks. Okay, all good. Thought maybe I just snapped it, but didn't. And just down here. Alright, so the interior of this one does not get painted green, so I just want to come back over these, make them a bit darker in certain spots, just ensuring I'm happy with all of the camouflage that I put down so far before I go on to the red brown. Alright, look how much paint I used. Barely anything to do that one. No wonder I have so much paint sitting around at home, because these just do not take up that much paint. Alright, so I'm going to tip that back into my jar. That was a lot of paint that I just saved, or let sit back in my toolbox for another 10 years, I suppose. Hopefully not. Hopefully I get into gear and keep painting all these German armors. Alright, that's that basic one there. And now, I didn't do the, how much paint have I got left in there? Probably enough, knowing how much I just used. I've got a tiny bit left in the cup. I'm just going to quickly do a little bit over the road wheels. Alright, heaps. Heaps, heaps, heaps. I'm going to dump all this out. That is all that out of the airbrush. I'm going to, I won't pour this in because it is such a small cup. Just going to drop some of the thinners, the cleaner. Shove the tissue back in, give it another wipe around in there. Get in all of the nooks and crannies of the airbrush. Okay. Let's move on to the brown. This has got a lot more paint in it. I've written German. That is a lot of paint. Put most of that back in there. I'm going to swing this one around. Load it in my clean airbrush. There we go. It should be more than enough. There we go. That's exactly what I want. So, I was getting all this splatter and now I'm not because I've lowered the pressure down way to just above 10 psi. And now the paint is acting a lot better. Let's come in and start where we were before and we'll put a bit of brown in here. The red is a lot darker, so it is it's coming up quite a bit more. As you can see on the model, it's much easier to be seen. I'm just going to do these ones down here. As you can see here, I forgot to do the green on that side bit. So that's not a worry because you might have noticed the doors are off. I will have to paint those ones later. I just don't have them ready to go on me. A little bit different, but that's alright. Just do a little bit of a quick one down here. Okay, the front is done. I need to do the barrel and the rear. Let's get them done. Let's get it cracking. And the barrel. Whoa, how good is that? Alright, gonna finish off the camouflage on the barrel and then I'll do a couple of the wheels just to show you how it starts to tie it together, and then we're going to finish off the video. So German camouflage is pretty random unless you're doing something like super specific with rings and whatnot. I like to just come in there and raw dog it, just make it all up, get really creative. A lot of the stuff I do, I focus on more of the creative element rather than the historical aspect. I am severely interested in history. I really love history, but I love the artistic side of modeling more so. So I'm happy to talk to friends about the history of models, but when it comes to painting, I just want to enjoy myself. There's nothing worse than rocking up to the bench and you're creatively uninspired. It is just the worst. Boom. Big boom boom. I'm going to go over, darken up a couple of the things, try and uniform both of these sides. That's obviously a lot darker than this side, but that's okay. I am coming back with the green and the brown again for the rear doors, as I mentioned earlier in the video. Just waiting on getting those sorted. They weren't as ready as I expected. I've been thrown into the studio, locked in the studio to get this one done. Nah, I did it on my own volition, it's alright. Stunning. Lovely. I'm really happy with how that turned out. More of a probably Normandy scheme, but I like it. I like it a lot. As I haven't done one of these schemes in a very long time. I probably did it last on probably one of my first airbrush video. No, my first airbrush model. Before I dump this out, I'm going to remember to do the brown on these. Beautiful. I'm going to chuck this back in here. Not that I actually needed any more brown because I have so much of it, and I use such little paint that I don't need to conserve as much unless I'm doing a big F35B, which is sitting right behind the camera. I'll leave that there for a second. It looks kind of cool with the white background. And I'm going to move on to doing a little bit of the NATO black. So I'm going to put in a little bit of thinner because I just want to do a light coat. Just one drop. We'll go. Mix it in. Wipe my brush off. Get this in this down here. Oh, that is just absolutely horrendous in some areas. But I think we're getting there. Kind of getting the idea. With these, they don't need to be perfect. They just need to do the job. And do it adequately. Okay. So I'm going to stop it there. Get out of it. As you can see from a distance, you get the idea, right? There's the road wheels. That's them unpainted and that's them painted. So I'm going to finish those ones up off of the camera. And yeah, I think I'm pretty much finished with this episode. Here we go. Gonna get some BTS footage of this one. This is what we've achieved today using some Tamiya colors to do the camouflage. Reinstating. Let me know whether you want me to do a winter wash over this model in the comments. More than happy to do so. Otherwise, if you like it like this, we can leave it like this if you want, and I'll just have to build another one. So yeah, there we go. This is a tutorial on painting camouflage on a German piece of armor in 48th scale, the Nasho. I am Kobey from Hearns Hobbies, and I hope you have a wonderful day. We will see you in the next video. Cheers, guys.